Welcome back to Professional Wrestling, the podcast. Man, I didn't realize my arms look so good, but apparently they're fixing up here with the man with the bod, the wrestling bod.
Listen, I'm not the only one with a t-shirt.
Well, you helped create that body, man.
That's true. Listen, we did some good work.
That's actually me on the shirt, Jonathan Hacohen, author of the Bible 3.0, available now on Barnes & Noble, Amazon.ca,
What?
and Indigo.
What?
It's true. It's damn true. And that is not photoshopped. And that is the one and only Mason Rush at Mason Rush 33, professional wrestler. And Mace, we got a big episode coming up today. You all pumped?
Can't wait.
Wicked.
Can't wait. Our last one was great, so this one's going to be even better.
So I was really, really pleased on this big announcement. It kind of took me out of left field. But of course, you know, with other factors happening in the wrestling world, aka Vince McMahon, all of a sudden The Rock comes back. And in the meantime, also, there's a big Netflix deal. So TKO, UFC is all part of WWE. And I'm thinking, what's the big next deal? Well, we're going to do it for billions of dollars. And we're going to be going onto Netflix. Did you expect this coming up? And us living in Canada, you know that actually we're going to be watching all our programming for WWE on Netflix, whereas the States is the only country where it's still going to be on individual networks. Only Raw is going to be on Netflix. But in Canada, UK, etc., we're going to be watching all NXT, SmackDown, Raw on Netflix. How you feeling about this? I'm pretty pleased.
Well, my Netflix stock is pretty pleased about it too. So, I'm definitely very happy about it. It's about time, right? Like, there needs to be one place where you can go, and who knows how long it will be for. It can move around. I'm sure more streaming services will pop up, but some sort of framework where I know where I'm going to watch it each week, right? You can't lose a deal here, move it channels. It's all really good. I think Netflix is the top dog in the streaming service industry. I think this puts them even further ahead in that category, and I think it's a great idea. I think it leads down the path of them launching other business ventures that will just make everything a lot better for wrestling fans and the WWE as a business.
And apparently it's going to be commercial free as well. Yippee-ki-yay.
No more Burger King commercials?
No more Burger King
No more Whopper commercials?
No more insurance commercials.
Damn, I like the butter chicken Whopper commercials. I'm not going to lie.
You're not going to learn anymore as far as that you can bundle your home, auto, and motorcycle anymore. But it's interesting enough that you trace back to this. This is kind of coming full circle because when WWE came out with WWE Network, I figured they're going to control all the means. Wrestling fans are going to subscribe to the channel, pay whatever you're going to pay, $10 a month, get all the WWE content. It's all going to make sense. Then turns out it makes more sense to go on to cable networks instead, that you're going to make more money that way than streaming it on your own, because apparently you're going to have bigger access to people. They're going to pay for the commercials. Not as many people are paying $10 a month. Then they sell that to Peacock. So Peacock takes over the library. And now we've come back to streaming again, realizing that the money isn't streaming, but in a different form. I've been thinking about this. They haven't really said much about it. Here's where I think it's going to go, Mason. Tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. I think if I'm Netflix at this point, I'm going to say, great. So now we have a sports tier. So you know how you already have to upgrade your Netflix if you wanted multiple people to watch it and you wanted 4K? If you want live streaming for sports, that's going to be yet another tier, so you're going to have to upgrade your Netflix account. You think they're going to go that route or keep it as part of the existing Netflix package?
I think, didn't they just raise Netflix prices a few bucks last year or so? So, right, yeah. So I think...
I'm still in a grandfathered package from the back in the day.
Us newbies are not. So yeah, no, I think it's still relatively affordable. It would have to be some sort of option basis, but again, I'd much rather pay a few extra bucks to be able to log on and have good quality, no commercials, right? Right there for me anytime I want, as opposed to what channel is it on, where is it, what's streaming service? I don't have that, so right. So as long as it's concise and easy to get to, I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to take off.
I've been trying to research this of what they're going to do with the pay-per-views, because as it is right now, when you're in Canada, you need to subscribe to a local provider. The local provider gives you the main shows on there as well, because they already carry them on basic cable. And then when you subscribe to their tier package, then you get all the pay-per-views. My thinking is, I assume in other countries other than the States, the pay-per-views will now go onto the Netflix package, but they may make that a separate. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with the pay-per-views. Back in my day, okay, so now we're talking back in WrestleMania 1, 1985,
Like
around
it
there.
was like black and white.
It was color. It was color. We had
Okay.
a TV box with 7 channels, 10 channels.
Like one of those dials. You have to move the antenna, like one of those.
No,
guys?
you had no. Come on, man. We had a box
Okay.
with a wire to your TV. That was
Okay.
your remote, and in the box you pushed down the channels,
Wow.
and that was your remote control. And there was one channel for pay-per-view,
And
you
Bruno
asked
Sammartino just won the championship.
this
Amazing.
back when
What a time.
it's funny when
War's over.
I don't even know if they had pay-per-view back in Bruno Sammartino's days. But imagine, they used to call it pay-per-view. You actually have to watch pay-per-view. And you still do that with AEW, by the way. So I have no clue how to get AEW pay-per-views. But I do.
I don't think anybody does, really.
But I do pay my $8 a month, so I get to watch Dynamite and Collision. Rampage and Collision, because Dynamite's on cable. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to watch Rampage and Collision. So in my estimation, if I'm AEW right now, and I'm Tony Khan, I am celebrating the streets because I'm saying, alrighty, I think it's only going to be time till Amazon Prime comes to me and picks up AEW, and we will just stream off of there, and our dollars are going to be going up as well. Can you see that happening in AEW land?
Yeah, I can. I can see it happening only because nobody wants to be left out. None of these big providers want to be left out. So if Netflix buys WWE for X amount of dollars and Amazon scoops up AEW for X amount less, way less, right? They might not need the same numbers to make everything work economically, right? So business-wise, I think it works on all the ends. Also, what they would get AEW for and the reach it would provide to AEW and to wrestling fans to watch it, I don't even think it would equate. I think that it's so much greater to just have that deal go through and compete because WWE is bringing up the level of competition for viewership, right? So WWE signs with Netflix. Maybe Amazon would have never looked at AEW. Now they kind of have to, right? They have to look and say maybe we do need a wrestling service. Maybe they do. They already have a sports division, right? So they do the NFL. So to add a little wrestling wing wouldn't be that difficult for Amazon.
I don't know many people anymore that subscribe to cable. Like, let's be frank about this. A lot of
My mom, my parents, right?
my mom still has a newspaper subscription. They bring her the paper to her door, and I'm like, wow, they're still in business. That's awesome. Good for you.
No, that's literally. There's very few reasons to have that standard cable
Right.
scroll. What's on 21, 22, right? Like that to me is so old school.
So I'm a fan of the show Power, for example. If I want to watch Power, I have to subscribe to Crave TV. That's the only way around it. And so to me, I subscribe to, in Canada, TSN Plus, so I can get my Rampage and Collision, fix. And if I'm willing to pay $8 a month for that, I'm sure as heck willing to pay that same $8 to $10 or whatever it is to get the full package of AEW plus their pay-per-views. I think this is the direction we're headed in across all sports mediums. I think all sports got very wise on this. There was an NFL playoff game not too long ago that was only available through subscription. What was that, on YouTube TV or some crap?
Amazon
like that?
Prime.
Amazon.
I think it was Amazon Prime TV, something like that.
One of those, yeah. And this is more and more where we're going to head. And I think this is really, really good for the sport. It brings more money into the sport, encourages wrestling to live and thrive. And for someone like yourself in the indie wrestling world saying, hey, where's wrestling going? When you see billion-dollar contracts getting signed, I think this is a good sign for everybody in the industry.
Yeah, 100%. It brings up the bottom, right? So as WWE grows, AEW grows, your local indies grow, the people who are interested in going to shows grow. Like it's good across the board. There's nothing bad that comes from growing an industry, right? Especially for the people who work in that industry.
I thought about this the other night, right before we were going to have this taping today, and I said to myself, imagine what the wrestling world would look right now if there was no AEW. Like, WCW went under, then it was just WWE, basically. Impact was kind of around, but not really. Think of all that roster of talent going on in AEW, right? And think about what would happen to all those people if there was no AEW right now. You look at WWE, and their top babyface is Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is not where he is if AEW didn't exist. CM Punk, same thing. I don't think CM Punk comes back and has a reunion with WWE if AEW is not around. And so, number one, I think it was very healthy for the industry to have multiple brands across the board. And then AEW has opened the door by incorporating other promotions and opening the quote unquote forbidden door, right? And New Japan, etc. And now all of a sudden we see WWE, and when we have the Royal Rumble, for example, people coming over from TNA Impact. So, what do you think about the cross promotions between the different companies? Are you enjoying that end of it?
Yeah. I think it's good. I mean, ultimately, your biggest stars are in WWE. So when you bring in other people, they have to be really, really well known to get any kind of pop when they come out. So they've done that. They've done a decent job, but I think it's still gonna go through NXT. I still think that the Performance Center NXT. I don't think I don't think you're gonna be able to just, other than the top stars, MJF, Cody Rhodes, right? Just go from one to the other, WWE to AEW, and make it and just take off. I think there's a longer process than that. Yeah.
As we've seen with Jade Cargill. I mean, Jade Cargill is top AEW star, female star. She goes straight to the Performance Center because she has to, because it's a different tier. That you just reminded me of an idea that we discussed, you and I, a while ago. I think AEW needs their NXT. They need their Performance Center at the end of the day. That's coming for them as well. It has to.
Once their market grows, right? Like, you still need enough eyes to watch SmackDown and Raw, and then NXT, right? And then Main Event and all their other shows. So AEW's tried. They had their dark. They had a whole bunch of other things. It's, it didn't go great, but that's because the viewership isn't as large. So once they grow that, they'll be able to grow all of their, other things as part of their businesses.
As we end today's episode, Mason Rush, professional wrestler and general awesome dude, I got to ask you this much, because there's something I'd like to see, and I think it's going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years. Tell me, from a wrestling point of view, marketing point of view, do you see this happening? I think at some point, to me, it's like boxing. When you have two boxing stars, two champions, and they hate each other and they talk smack at each other, you're never going to see them get in the ring, and yet they find a way because money talks. At some point, do we do a one-off, big-time promotion of a main event? And I'm going to tell you, WWE is going to be the one hosting it. WWE is going to take care of most of the logistics of it because they're the big dog in this. But do we see a WWE versus AEW wrestlers, big-time pay-per-view event? Can you see that happening? Yes or no, and why?
Not unless there is going to be a backdoor under the table deal where WWE takes over AEW eventually. No, I don't think so, because there's nothing in it for WWE. Nothing, right? Like, there's nothing that WWE needs from AEW to make it get bigger and grow as a business. So, and I think they all know that. Triple H knows that. Khan knows that. All the guys on the top know that there's no world where AEW is even in the same universe as WWE right now. Not that it can't be, but it's the same way we're talking about Seth's belt is always second to Roman's belt. Yeah. It's the same thing with that, right? And the only difference is you have the indie promotions that know that. They accept it. We're the feeder leagues. We have great, excellent talent. They could all be in the WWE. They're just not. But we're not quite the WWE. And then you have AEW, which tries to be on that level, and it's not, right? And you'll see when they're top stars, some guys who haven't been on TV in weeks on AEW might make that big switch and come out one night at WWE.
So could I give you a quick option B? What about a world of AEW and NXT colliding? Or is that the same logic?
Same logic.
Because it's WWE, NXT is the same brand essentially. So even though it's their minor league guys and gals, it doesn't make sense to
unless they buy it, unless they purchase AEW, bring those top stars to NXT to big, because they do want NXT to, and it's done a great job of becoming a little more popular, but they want that to be as viewed as any of their other shows each week. So that's how I can see it, but I still don't. I think there's so much pride, there's so much ego in the industry, in the business, and so many people have crossed over from business to bit. I don't see a world where AEW and WWE work together if there's not a long-term plan to merge.
If you're a betting man 10 years from now, AEW, is it owned by the Khan family? Is it a publicly traded company? Is it owned by WWE? Or is it out of business?
10 years from now, I think it's no longer a business, and I think that we're back to WWE running the table, and all the top AEW guys will filter back into the WWE system.
A la another WCW. It'll be really interesting to see. I think it'll still be the Khan family. I think it's Vince McMahon 2.0 minus all the other extracurricular stuff. But as far as a family holding it and the way the McMahon family held it forever, I think it'll still be, they have the dollars behind them, the Khan family.
They do, but you don't get rich by making stupid business decisions and pissing money away, right? So
until something makes you money, it's called a hobby. It's
that's the thing, right? If you want to fund a hobby for your kid, no problem. But until I don't see fans chirping the attendance at AEW shows where they show you the hard cam side and then behind the cameras ghost town, pretending like it's full, right? Like until I start seeing with my own eyes that there's money coming in, it's a hobby.
AEW fans, WWE fans, send us your comments, Professional Wrestling, like and subscribe. Let us know, are you hating the whole idea of streaming wrestling services, Netflix deal? Where's AEW going with their streaming? Send your comments to Mason Rush 33 over on Instagram. And we'll see you back all real soon on Professional Wrestling, the podcast.